না না, নিজের থেকে। ম্যাডাম আমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শোনা যাচ্ছে।
ওকে। ম্যাম, shall I start?
Doctor, are you there?
Yes. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to all of the participants. We have reached today at the end of the last session of the FDP, 5 days FDP, which the Department of Pharmaceutical Technology, JIS University, has organized. We are very much thankful to all of you to be with us. And this would be the last session by our respected speaker, Dr. Arindam Kumar Sheel. He is the Associate Professor from the Electrical Engineering Department of Jadavpur University. We are really privileged to have him amongst us. Before we move on to our session by sir, I would like to give a brief introduction about Dr. Arindam Kumar Sheel. Dr. Arindam Kumar Shell is, as I said, presently he is working as an associate professor from the Department of Electrical Engineering, Jadavpur University, West Bengal. If I talk about his educational background, he did his bachelor in engineering, BEd in electrical and electronics engineering from Karnataka University, completed his ME degree, that is Masters in Engineering in Software Engineering from the University, and also completed his doctoral degree in electrical engineering from the Jadavpur University. He has around 20 years of teaching experience. Currently, as I said, he is associated with Jadavpur University. From the university, he has received his education, his master's degree, and PhD. His area of interest, area of research includes power system planning, peak load management, renewable energy integration, or grid. He has several
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Actually, the streaming stopped somewhere in the meanwhile while I was introduced. I'll just start the session. Actually, thank you, Dr. Somaresh, for introducing me. So such a long introduction, not required. I'm very closely associated with the people in JIS group actually, because I've been there for a long time before I joined Jadavpur University. It's a privilege to talk and speak on this particular topic of National Education Policy 2020, as it has been requested by the organizing team. And in specific, it is basically rather the present scenario of the education system, the policy that has been proposed by the government of India, and so on and so forth. The requirement to understand how things will actually going to come up in the few years from now. And so therefore, when we are asked to speak about such subjects or topics, it becomes very crucial for the audience, rather I should say, to really understand, because this is not going to be a very interesting topic of pharmacy. This is going to be something that we'll be speaking about the policy making of the present central government and MHRD, and therefore understanding of the policy becomes an essential part in this session. So I would just take around 45 minutes of mine to speak for, with some question and answers if required at the end. And I'll start with that first. So, yeah. So how do we go by this? A bit of an introduction slide actually. Now what we speak about is basically why do we need to introduce a new education policy? You know, the earlier education policy was basically focused on not only education, early education, or I should say child education. It was about the literacy of the country. It was only focused to cover the students who are basically kids of age of smaller group age, and the people were very much interested to know that the policy must be such that it should take care of the people with economically background conditions, and they must at least get a flair of education in terms of attending school. So the essentiality of understanding the need of education, and thereby asking the students from the poor or background, economically background areas to come up and join schools. That was Sarva Shikha Abhiyan. That was basically the intention of the earlier, basically education policy, which was around a long back, I should say around 96, 97, that was proposed, and slowly it was introduced, and later on it was spread around the country. But this education policy was very much brought into the present scenario because the present regime of the government which is in power, that is in the central government, they have actually thought wisely that the entire policy has almost crossed over around 20-25 years, and that needs a bit of change, because the present technological advancement, the infrastructural development in the education system, everything needs basically an introspection, and thereby getting into that and then again proposing a new education policy was something that they had framed in their mind. So NEP 2020 lays a particular emphasis on development of creative potential. That's what we are talking about of each individual. It is based on the principle that it must be holistic, aiming towards developing cognitive capacities as well as social, ethical, and emotional capacities. Holistic in the sense that the study learning process should not be like in a classroom way of approaching. It should be more of a, like, interaction with questionnaire. It should be something to do with practical implementation of the things that we do in terms of educational purposes that lays down, and thereby this also includes to this fact that it should not only be reflecting education only, it should also have a basic idea of slide is not changing, it seems.
It is, sir, it is in the introduction page.
Can you see the change?
Yes, sir. Vision of the
Yeah,
national education.
yeah.
It's changing.
Yeah, it's changing actually. I'll change. Only thing is that I'm keeping it here only because I need to just flow up first, then I'll just go things faster. It will be changing once and I come into a flow of telling what exactly I want to speak for, right? So the point is that this kind of educational system that has been proposed in NEP 2020 basically rethinks about not only the socioeconomic part of the students that we are talking about, but also how they will be brought to school and how they will be taught in the near process. This also includes literally a rather, I should say, the workability of the students to know about their ancient Indian knowledge, and they should know how these things have been developed and how that has to be implemented in the school syllabuses.